So I recently switched from my old Windows PC to M1 MacBook Air. Honestly, there's a lot I really like about it, but there's also some stuff that just frustrates the heck out of me. This video is a little bit different from what I usually make. Normally I talk about tools, coding or tech related stuff, but today I want to share my personal experience of actually using the MacBook Air day to day. It's the 2020 MacBook Air with 8 GB RAM, 256 GB storage and famous M1 chip. I know it's a bit older now, but hey, it's still got some serious power. I thought it would be cool to make a quick video about my time with it and let you know what's been great and what's been a bit of a pain. So let's get into it. One thing I really don't like about macOS is that it doesn't come with a built-in download manager, especially for large files. I actually like using Safari, it's clean and fast, but when I tried downloading something like a 10 GB file, it failed multiple times and it was super frustrating. And yes, I know there is an app called Flux that supports multi-threaded downloads, and I have tried it as well, but honestly, it's just nowhere near IDM. On Windows, Internet Download Manager is just so much better. It's fast, reliable, and it gives you up to 8 threads even in the default setup. Flux only gives you 2 threads in the free version, and that really slows things down. I feel like Apple could easily improve this, just add proper multi-threaded downloading in Safari. I don't get why most browsers don't support this out of the box. It's just a useful feature, especially for people like us who download large files regularly. And hey, if anyone from the Apple is somehow watching this video, please add multi-threaded downloads. It would really help user like us. Also, if you are watching this and you know a better alternative to Flux, something that actually comes close to IDM, please drop it in the comments. I am seriously looking for one. Now that's one downside of the MacBook, but there's definitely a lot to love about it as well. One thing I really like is how smooth the macOS experience is, the design, the UI, everything just works together really well. Unlike many people or videos in the media that mostly focus on specs like which laptop has a better keyboard or a better touchpad, I want to go a bit deeper into what the Mac environment actually offers. Most of the content I have seen mainly focus on looks and raw power, but I want to talk about the feature, the software side, the small but meaningful things that macOS gives you, which you might not even notice at first. So I will try my best to give you a general understanding of the macOS environment and share the feature that really stood out to me. Now I don't know if these features exist in other operating system or not, but I do have a Windows PC and these are the things I don't find there. So yes, I like them a lot. Also, another important thing I want to share. I have seen a lot of videos where people use the MacBook for different tasks, especially video rendering and editing. I have watched comparison where people say MacBook performs better than many laptops because of how well it handles rendering and overall performance. I have seen this myself. I used Adobe Premiere on this Mac and edited a short 10-minute 2K video and it was super smooth. It rendered really fast. It just took 5 to 6 minutes to export a 10-minute 2K video, which honestly impressed me a lot. On my Windows PC I can't even run 2K editing smoothly, so this felt like a major upgrade. Even though I usually prefer editing on a big screen, but the Mac is so smooth I kinda enjoy it more than my Windows setup now. A lot of YouTubers just say Mac is better, but they don't really explain why, like what features actually make it better. Things like iMovie, the built-in preview tools, the pre-installed apps, or even audio to text typing. These are some super useful tools. I actually even tried the audio to text in Google Docs. It's okay, but in my opinion, the Mac's speech to text is far more superior. Even while working on this video script, I used the built-in speech to text and it worked quite fast. Yes, it has some issues, but personally I feel like it writes way better than Google Docs in some cases. So now let's start with the speech to text. If you don't know how to start this feature on your MacBook, don't worry, I will make it super simple for you. You just need to go to the settings, head over to keyboard and then go to the dictation section. Just turn it on select your microphone and set a shortcut if you want. That's it, you are good to go. You might notice a little bit of lag sometimes, but honestly, that's totally fine. Let me show you how it works. Now there is a similar feature. This one is a bit different. It's called voice control. With this you can control almost everything on your Mac using just your voice. In my opinion, it's not very reliable yet. There are few things it doesn't always understand, but if you like to explore and experiment, I would definitely suggest trying it out. I haven't seen anything like this on my Windows, so it's a pretty unique feature. With this feature, you can open up any application with just one voice command. For example, you can say, please open up dictionary and it will open the dictionary app for you. You can also try it with Safari, like ask it to create a new tab and it will usually do that. But if there is already a tab open, it kinda just ignores you sometimes. I don't know if it's not understanding me or if I'm saying something wrong, but hopefully it will get better over time. I really hope Apple improves this feature because it has a lot of potential. To turn it on, again you have to go to the system settings, then accessibility, and under voice control, toggle it on, and this is how this works. One thing I personally love about using a Mac is that I can pretty much code anything, almost everything really. The only real limitation is storage, like I am working with 256 GB right now, so I constantly have to keep an eye on the space. At the moment, I am just experimenting with what I can build in with Xcode. Since I am someone who is coming from a web development background, Swift is still a bit new for me, but I'm still getting into it. In the future, I might start making more videos around Swift and app development. So if that sounds something interesting, make sure to follow along. Now let's talk about the trackpad. Honestly, the first time I used it, I hated it. It felt weird and slow, but once I learned about the trackpad gesture, everything changed. In my opinion, it's 1,000 times better and faster than using a mouse. Seriously, if you haven't given the trackpad a fair chance, you really should. It's simple, fast, and once you get used to the gesture, it just feels natural. Even when I was editing videos in Adobe, I found the trackpad to be much quicker than mouse. Zooming, trimming, navigation, all of it felt smoother with gesture. Of course, not everyone might feel the same way, but if you're someone who's coming from using a mouse like I did, I would really recommend giving the touchpad a shot. Just spend a little time learning the gesture and you might be surprised at how efficient it can be. Now, as a developer, I found it surprisingly powerful, and honestly, I don't know why more people aren't using it. I'm talking about script editor. With script editor, you can automate all sorts of tasks. For example, if you want to rename a large number of folders or convert a batch of images from one format to another, you can do all that with just a bit of app script. As you can see here, I'm using it to convert image types. I actually found this script on a YouTube channel and it worked perfectly. That said, I'm still new to AppScript and I'm figuring things out as I go. It will take some time to get comfortable with the language, but even now I can see how powerful it is once you get the hang of it. Now I'm not sure if this feature exists in other laptops, but I really like it and so do a few people in my family. It's called video effects and it lets you apply all kinds of fun filters while you are on the camera. You can choose from a bunch of effects and it even lets you take pictures too. It's a small feature, but still it feels unique and I genuinely enjoy using it. Now this is one of the best apps Mac OS gives us, seriously. I love it so much that I could easily make a separate video just about this app. But for now, let me give you a short and simple overview. With the preview app, you can work with PDFs and images. You can edit PDFs, merge multiple PDFs files, and even add text to images right inside the app. One thing I find super useful is that it automatically detects input fields in a PDF forms, so you can just fill them out and save the file. No extra software needed. You can also scan and save your signature and then easily add it to any document. That's something I use a lot. And if you work with images, Preview gives you a plenty of tools to enhance them, like brightness, contrast, crop, rotate, you name it. Honestly, for basic image editing, I think it's a solid alternative to something like Adobe Lightroom. If you haven't tried it yet, I am pretty sure you're going to like it. Another thing I really love as a developer is Homebrew. It's honestly one of the best tools for me. I can just run a couple of commands and install things like Python, Node, or pretty much anything I need. Most of the useful stuff can be installed super easily with it. Also, if you try to run something like Python 3 dash dash version and Python isn't installed on your Mac, it will actually prompt you like, hey, do you want to install this? And with just one click, it handles it for you. That kind of built-in convenience is something I really appreciate about macOS. And another small thing I love about it is that you can just right click or two finger tap on any word and you can instantly see the meaning using the built-in dictionary. It's such a simple feature but super handy, especially when I'm reading something technical or new. Also, as a developer, if you want to create some special commands to automate specific tasks, you can easily use a .sh file. It's called a shell script. For example, I made one for myself that automatically deletes any Premiere Pro project once I have finished working on it. Sure, you can do this on other operating system too, but on macOS the process just feels simpler and more straightforward. Other small but super useful tool I love is Color Picker app. It's a lightweight tool if you work with front-end design or UI stuff like I do, or if you are a designer. It's really handy. I use it a lot while designing interface, choosing colors and matching elements. Also, I feel like the Maps app on Mac is actually more detailed than people realize. You can zoom in and see really clear outlines of countries and cities. I hope Apple's keep improving it over time, but even now it looks pretty good. Now some things I like but wish Apple would improve. First is iMovie. I like iMovie and as a small YouTube creator, I actually think it's a decent app, but it's missing a lot of feature. For example, you can't blur specific part of a clip and the color grading tools aren't as advanced as what you get in DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro. I just feel like if Apple is already offering these useful apps, why not invest a little more to improve them? Second application that I think that needs improvement is Freeform. I also like Freeform, but honestly it feels half baked. If you have ever used Excel Draw, you will know what I mean. It's similar in concept, but Excel Raw is much smoother and much more powerful in my opinion. I really don't understand why Apple doesn't focus more on making their built-in apps competitive. Now GarageBand, I kind of love it and hate it at the same time. It's great for quick music editing and basic recording, but it's clearly not on the level of professional tools like FL Studio or Ableton. For example, many music editors have noise removal built in, but GarageBand doesn't. It just feels like Apple should invest more into making it a serious tool, especially since it's already halfway there. I really like Shortcut app. It's super useful for automating tasks or creating app specific workflows. But one thing I don't get is why do we have three different apps for automation, shortcuts, automator, and script editor? Don't get me wrong, they are all great in their own ways, but wouldn't it be better to just merge them into one powerful automation app? Still, I do use shortcuts a lot and find it useful. Now that we have looked at some of the good parts, let's talk about a few downsides. One issue I have noticed is that it sometimes struggles with large Excel files. For example, I recently tried opening a file with over 300 sheets, and while it did start loading, the system becomes noticeably laggy. I'm guessing this has something to do with limited RAM. But honestly, if the Mac can handle HD video editing and heavy apps, it's a bit surprising that a big Excel file causes problem. In my opinion, though, this seems like hardware limitation than a macOS issue, so I won't really blame the software for this one. Another issue I have run into is that some software just isn't available on the Mac App Store or even the Mac OS in general. For example, I wanted to use SteelSeries GG, which is an app I regularly use on my desktop for noise removal in audio. Unfortunately, there is no way to properly use it on my Mac. SteelSeries gives you free AI based noise removal. It's not a true removal, but it works very well. On Mac though, there is no real alternative that works the same way. You can't install SteelSeries properly on macOS because it's mainly built for Windows. Now, yes, macOS does have an app called GarageBand, which is a solid app, and I have talked about it before, but sadly, it doesn't come with AI noise removal out of the box. I really hope Apple adds that kind of feature in the future updates of GarageBand, but for now, I still have to rely on my desktop app for clean audio. Also, if you go through SteelSeries website, they do offer a Mac OS version, but when I tried installing it on my MacBook, it just didn't work out for me. There was no option to enable Sonar, which is an actual noise removal tool. I don't know if it's a bug or some kind of system limitation, but if anyone knows how to get it working on macOS, let me know in the comments. I would love to figure it out. Another area where I think macOS could improve is how it handles system permission. I'm not a big fan of how often macOS asks you for your password or fingerprint. Like every time when I try to install something or make a system change, it pops up. I just feel like it's a bit too much sometimes. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm definitely not against security, but I think it could be smarter, like maybe let user decide when to ask for authentication or gives us more control over how strict it could be. If there is a way to reduce these constant prompts without completely turning off the protection, that would honestly make the experience feel a bit more smoother. One thing I don't like is that you can't easily browse the library folder using the normal Finder UI. Like on Windows, you can just go through every folder with ease. But on Mac, it's kind of hidden. Sure, there is a way you can press Shift Command plus G and manually type the folder path to get there, but honestly, that's not very user friendly in my opinion. I feel like Apple should have allowed regular folder navigation, especially for people who want more control. That said, there are some upside too, like searching for files or folders on Mac OS is super fast. On Windows, I have to wait, but here it's almost instant, so I can't really call it a bad UI. It's just different, but yes, I would definitely suggest Apple to make folder navigation a bit more flexible. Also, I find myself using the terminal a lot more to access stuff, which feels a bit odd coming from a Windows background. It's not terrible, just something I'm still adjusting to. Also, I don't like that MacBooks don't have a built-in screen recording system with internal audio. You have to install something like Black Hole app just to make it work. I feel like Apple should have added this by default, just like Windows, but for some reason they haven't. Another thing I noticed, a new app called Image Playground. It's supposed to let you create AI images using prompt, but personally I'm not too impressed. Sometimes it doesn't understand that I'm trying to enhance a previously generated image. Right now I prefer using Sora AI instead. In my opinion, it's way better option and it's free. Also, Siri didn't meet my expectation. I thought I would be able to talk to it naturally and ask it to do things like a real assistant, but unfortunately it doesn't work as smoothly or intelligently as I hope. There are also a couple of default apps that I personally don't like that much. First is podcast. I feel like podcasts are better on YouTube. Having a separate app for it feels unnecessary, at least for me. Another app is Stocks. I really don't get why this app is there. It's not like it gives us anything extra that you can't find elsewhere, like you can see TradingView, which is a browser based application, and in my opinion TradingView is far more superior than Stocks. So that's it for today. I hope this video gives you a clear practical perspective on what it's really like to use a MacBook, especially if you are switching from Windows like me. Most videos talk about specs or benchmarks, but I wanted to focus on real world stuff, what actually matters day to day. If you found this helpful, feel free to drop a like and consider subscribing. It really helps. And hey, in the next video I'm thinking of sharing some suggestion for Apple things I truly wish macOS and MacBook had, or feature I think could make the experience even better. So if you are curious about that, make sure you stick around. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.